Hey everybody, this is Pete Blank coming to you with today's webinar on how to lead an effective meeting. I'm very happy to be taking 15 or 20 minutes here with you just to share a little bit about something we all have to do, which is lead meetings. Now, if you don't currently lead meetings, you will eventually. And if you do have to lead some meetings, well, hopefully we can give you a couple of tips today that just might help you out a little bit. So we've got a chat box open. If you have any questions, feel free to write them into the old chat box there. And there's all kinds of things that we're trying here as well with the old zoom.us, but we are recording this also, so you should be able to watch it or show it to your coworkers at a later date. So a couple quick logistical things before we get started. If I can get the old, let's see. Well, we're already into a problem here. Okay, hold tight. Hold tight. Let me see why I cannot advance. There we go. All right. Learning as we go. Couple of logistics. This is a pilot program. We have not done a lot of webinars, a lot of e-learning in the past. So we are trying this. This is our fourth or fifth one, I think, and we are going to be doing these monthly. As we get better at them and as we have you, our peer group, give us feedback on what you like and what you don't like around length, around time, around content, then we'll be doing a real big push to people, getting it out there, maybe through social media, and making sure that Greg and Kim and Michael, even Taria maybe, are out there sharing some information for you to help you get better at what you do. As always, we're going to record these and save them on My Merit Matters, so that's important. You can always go back and watch them, show them to your teams in a team meeting right there on the meritmatters.org site. And again, as always, feedback, we want to hear it, the good, the bad, the ugly. So the audio went out. I couldn't hear it. I don't like 2 o'clock. I'd rather it be around lunchtime. Anybody trying from their mobile device, give us feedback on your mobile device. If you're using that, kind of share that information with us as well. Too many slides, not enough slides. Pete's head is too big. Content's not good. Whatever it is, just share that with us because we want to help you get better. That's the goal of these. We're not doing these just for the fun of it. We're doing these because we really want you to get better as a civil servant, as a merit system employee. And our team just wants to help any way we possibly can. So let's get started in our content. Some of the stuff I've got, I want to thank Greg Bone. Greg Bone shared some information with me from an organization called Legg Mason Global Asset Management. And they did a study a couple of years ago on effectiveness of meetings and how meetings work and all that. And to be honest with you, no matter what data you look at, the data is all the same, which is that meetings stink. We just don't do them well. And just from a human perspective, you would think that we're good at communication and we're good at feedback. So why can't we get this whole meeting things down? 75% of people in this study from 2015 said that more meetings were held than were necessary. So again, in the chat box, if you want to, if you can get that up right now, just in an average month, go ahead and type in a number of how many meetings you attend in an average month. So everybody go ahead and throw that into the chat box there. If it's 1 a week, maybe it's 4. If it's 2 a week, maybe it's 8. But go ahead and just chat out there and let everybody know how many meetings you attend on a regular basis. Because 75% of people say that there's too many meetings. Oh my word, Barb Newman goes to 10 meetings a month. How do you have time to get work done? Eric going to a couple a week, 2 to 5 per week. Kim's got 3 or 4. Kim, I'm not scheduling those meetings. So I don't know where you're going. I guess a couple of them are mine. Yeah, Joanne's doing about 8. And if you think about this, 75% of people said that more meetings than necessary were held. So how many of those are actually needed in your organization when you're thinking about the actual concept of going to meetings? Excuse me. All right. Okay. 72% said that meeting agendas were not clear or were not sent out in advance. That's a big problem. I know that if we do like law enforcement, they have like a roll call meeting every day. Some of you have shift meetings. Some of you have staff meetings. But in almost 3/4 of these meetings, people aren't sending out the agendas. I don't even know what the meeting is about. Now, if you're the meeting leader, of course, that's a problem. You're like, why do I got to type everything up? You don't have to do something like you see on the screen here. That's very intensive. That's like for an all-day meeting. But you need to at least have, here's the 3 topics we're going to cover. Here's the 5 topics we're going to cover, and all the things that kind of go with that. 59% of people said that they believe that their team uses significantly more or just more time than necessary to achieve the outcomes. So in your meeting, did you have enough time? And 59% said either we had more than enough time or significantly more than enough time. Translation, what does that mean? People, your meetings are too long. And finally, 53% said that there was no action given out afterwards. So I go to a meeting, I sit there, and I walk out, and I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to be handling, how this is supposed to be getting done. So almost half of people walk out of there and really aren't even sure what they're trying to accomplish. So what can we do as leaders, both in the marriage system and in our lives? What can we do to be better? Well, I'm going to share with you basically 5 simple steps to leading an effective meeting. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Pete, what does this roach have to do with the meetings? To be honest, absolutely nothing. But in case you were starting to zone out a little bit, or you're like, this is a boring webinar, at least now you have a picture of me holding a roach, which should get you focused back on track. So here you go, 5 simple tips. This is from all types of data, not just the ones that I've been reading from. And this is common sense stuff. Very few of you are going to walk out of here and go, oh, I didn't know that. The key is not knowing it. The key is applying it. The key is implementing it. The key is making it happen each and every day. So number 1, time is everything, people. Time is everything, okay? Just because Outlook defaults to a 60-minute meeting does not mean all your meetings have to be 60 minutes. Just because a Franklin Covey calendar has it in 30-minute increments doesn't mean your meetings have to be 30 minutes. It is okay, you want to really rock the boat, to schedule a meeting from 11:15 to 11:30. How about from 11:40 to 12? Wouldn't that freak people out? They'd be like, this is weird. Most of our meetings are 9 to 10. But here's what you have to do. You have to be cognizant of time, because time is everything when it comes to meeting. Number 1, starting on time is important. You have to make sure, because if you say we're going to have a meeting at 11:40, you got to start at 11:40. This webinar was at 2 o'clock. We started right at 2 o'clock. So timing is everything. So not just the start time, but the length of the meeting. Patrick Lencioni has a neat book. I think it's Patrick Lencioni, called Death by Meetings. And he talks about different types of meetings. Some of them are 5-minute informational meetings, 30-minute update meetings, 60-minute strategic meetings, things like that. And that's kind of neat when you think about it. What I'd like to sort of remind you all is that not every meeting has to be a fast meeting. Eric says anything longer than 45 minutes is a waste of time. It does seem like it. It seems like we're just absolutely killing time. So make your meetings shorter, make them concise, start them on time. We have a thing with my team every Monday morning. It's what everybody hates. It's the Monday morning start your week meeting. But the good news is that's all we talk about. We don't do any strategic planning in that meeting. We sit down from 8:15 to about 8:25 and we say, what's going on during your day? Taria, what are you doing this week? Michael, what are you doing this week? Kim, what are you doing this week? And we all share what we're doing that week verbally so we can hear, are other people doing things? But we're not allowed to ask questions. Not, oh, how's that project coming? Oh, hey, you're going to Bessemer? Tell me about that. That's not what that meeting is for. We can cover that in a different meeting, but to stay on time, to stay on task, it is Patrick Lencioni. Thank you, Eric. You got to make sure that you're keeping your meetings on time. So make them short, make them concise. Number 2. Second thing I want to make you aware of is have a purpose. What's the purpose of your meeting? Your employees want to know, is it informational? Is it brainstorming? Is it creative thing? I'm here in the think tank here, personnel board. We would love for y'all to come book this room. This is a brainstorming creative room. So if you book this room for 2 hours, you should be in here writing on the walls and brainstorming. This is not where you'd want to have a data dump type of meeting. Those can be done in other places. So what's the purpose? Share information, brainstorm, get feedback. So let people, is it just, how many of you have this? Oh, it's just our weekly staff meeting. What's the purpose? Oh, we get together and we have our, staff meeting, updates, sharing updates. If you can't articulate the purpose of your meeting, then there's no reason to have it. Because updates can be shared in email. Updates can be shared on a blog or on a shared web space. Okay, what's the purpose of the meeting and what are you doing it for? So that's number 2. Number 3, you got to take a stand on technology. Pete, what do you mean by that? Well, let me share what I mean by take a stand on technology. I used to be of the mindset of if you have a cell phone, put it down during the meeting. Do not bring a laptop into the meeting because I know you're going to be searching. And what I found was people didn't like that because some people are actually taking notes on their phones. Some people are taking notes on their laptops. Some people are using it to, contribute to the day. So you have to take a stand. If the machines are allowed in your meetings, you have to somehow take a stand and make sure that they're not doing other work. Oh, I just wanted to have my email open in case something happened. Oh, I just wanted to have my Facebook open in case something happened. Take a stand before, say that this is our expectation around meetings. Either if you bring them in, it's work only, or go the opposite way, which is you are not allowed to be on. And this is going to be a 30-minute meeting, no electronics. We're just talking and taking handwritten notes. Someone's going to type them up. It may seem like we're going back to the 70s, but a lot of times that helps you get your focus with your people who are in the meeting with you. So where do you stand on technology? Stand on that, stand firm. Number 4, the 4th thing we want to talk about today is stay on track. I think I may have mentioned this earlier, but it is the reason meetings go long is because we get in the weeds, because there's no agenda. And when there's no agenda, it's extremely frustrating to people who are in there who want to cover these 3 topics. And then someone says, oh, hey, tell me more about Workday. Just hypothetically. What's happening with that? Or, hey, did you know that UAB is building a new football stadium across the way? Yeah, how are they paying for that? Hey, will we be asked to volunteer for that? Hey, how's that? And all of a sudden, you're like, well, they're interested, so let's go down this path. Don't do that. What you can do is say, I'll be happy to address that after this meeting for those who want to stay. I'll be happy to address that for those who want to stay afterwards. Let's schedule a separate meeting tomorrow. People have so much work to do that they don't need to waste time in meetings with other ancillary topics. So number 4 is stay on track. And number 5, this was one of the big problems early on. You heard that almost 53% of people said that they don't have action steps. Assign action steps. Use the word own. We talk about this, all of my impact participants. You remember back to the accountability training class. We say, hey, will you own this? This is a great idea. Who's going to own it? So you don't want to have all these great ideas in this meeting, and then you assign them to the person who looks at you. Oh, you're looking at me. Can you take care of that? Equally assign all the work to all the participants. Because you know why people don't speak up in meetings and bring you good ideas? Do you know why people don't speak up in meetings and bring you good ideas? Because when you do, or when they do, you say, that's a great idea. Why don't you go look into that? They're like, well, I'm not going to say anything because I don't have time to do more work. But if you distribute the action items equally among everybody, make sure everybody's delegated to correctly, then you're doing good. So that's your 5th step. Make sure you assign the action steps. So let's recap. Step 1 was time. Step 2 was purpose. Step 3 was technology. Boy, that was pretty actually rude. Let's try that again. Step 1 was time. Make sure you start your meetings on time and that you have a correct time length for your meetings. Number 2 is purpose. All meetings need to have a purpose. So make sure you know, is it informational, data dump, brainstorming? What is it? Number 3 is technology. Where do you stand? Cell phones or no cell phones? Laptops or no laptops? Take a stand and be firm in that. Number 4, stay on track. Don't get in the weeds. Don't be afraid to go backwards like I just did also. And number 5, assign action steps. Delegate. Make sure you distribute the work evenly. That is a very simple process and will make you a great meeting leader. So I hope this has been helpful today. Couple quick things. Next month's webinars with Michael Glaze. Pretty sure it's going to be on the concept of influence, and we all need to influence as leaders, so that's fantastic. Go to meritmatters.org. We'll have this recorded and uploaded probably within 24 to 48 hours. You can show your team members this and help them become better leaders of meetings, managers of leaders of meetings, yes. And then our fall calendar is going to come out in September. Taria's working really hard to hit that deadline, and I know she will. In fact, probably maybe a little early. Cross your fingers. So she's doing a great job getting the October, November, December calendar ready. Lots of good training opportunities for you there. So real quick, let me just check for any type of chats that came up. No more questions over here. So good to know. All right. Well, I appreciate you all taking time with us today. Thank you so much. Go out there and lead great meetings, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.